Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the SportsVisions TV show, radio show, and this is where we need to be. We're broadcasting live right here on the field at Center Park Stadium, home of the Georgia State University Panthers. I'm DJ Jones alongside my partner and crime, as you like to say, Thrift Barringer. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing excellent, DJ. Unbelievable access that we have right now, and what a way to bring in the Dell McGee era than on the road with SportsVisions right from Center Park Stadium.
Absolutely. I tell you what, shout out goes out to, of course, the one and only Allison George. She is the associate assistant athletic director for athletics communications, and she has us set up right nicely. I don't think there's a better seat in the house. Of course, you'll see the field right behind us where the game will be going on. The kickoff is scheduled for 4 o'clock, but for the next 48, 50 minutes or so, we'll be talking to not only Dell McGee, we are also going to have his dad, Curtis McGee. Who knows Dell better than his dad, Curtis McGee? But we might have some other special guests. But you know what? We got 45 good minutes to talk to you about what's going on here, and it's special.
Yeah, it is very special. Georgia State, we talked about, they're a sleeping giant. We had Allison on the radio show on Thursday with talking about, Bill Curry was a coach there, Sean Elliott. But it's just, I see the vibe. There's, 100 kids here and
over 100, yeah.
Over 100 that are coming in, and they are all excited. It just seems like the energy is up and everybody's ready for the Georgia State Panthers.
Well, I tell you what, Thrift, we took on this campaign, and I know it's just as soon as we got word back in February when he was named the head coach at Georgia State University, we knew our allegiances were going to be not only with the teams that we always have rooted for, but wherever Dale landed as a head coach, that was going to be a part of our menu as far as teams that we will be cheering for this spring and fall as far as football.
Yeah, so we mentioned, and we talked to Jonathan Kara's story yesterday when we did the SportsVision radio show. If you missed it, live on this Facebook page, also the SportsVisions radio app, everyone has their team, the Georgia, the Alabama, the Auburn's, but then this is their adopted team because he's from Columbus, Georgia. I mean, name another Division I coach, head coach, that came from Columbus, Georgia. Right now, he's the only one, so everybody in the Columbus area should be cheering them on.
Absolutely. Of course, the Kendrick Cherokee standout, of course, he was all-city, all-state in football and track. Again, went over to Auburn and, of course, did his thing over there, was drafted into the league by the St. Louis Cardinals, might have been the Arizona Cardinals. But from that point on, of course, his career blossomed in coaching, and you know what he's done over his coaching career, his brief coaching career, is just it's anything less than phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's my question with you, DJ. Someone that's known him for a long time. He swears by my granddad. My granddad, Larry Bush, was his coach back at Rothschild. I knew about Dell McGee, but you actually known him. You were part of his growth. Did you know he was going to be this type of star way back when he was at Carver?
I don't think anybody, and if anybody would have said so, they would have been. You would have said they were lying. Got some homeboys here from down in Seatown. What's going on, fellas?
TJ
How y'all doing? What's up, babe? All right. But, yeah. Anybody would have told you they're any different because Dale was so quiet. And, again, me personally, I had no idea that he would rise amongst – but that's what you do. Again, when it's time, when the lights come on, whether you're an athlete or coach, man, you come to play and you come to perform at a high level. And, what he has done not only at the University of Georgia, but at Georgia Southern prior to him coming there, has been just tremendous.
Yeah, it has been tremendous, just watching his growth. And, he won his one bowl game when he was coaching at Georgia Southern, so he has one game experience as a head coach at the D1 level. But now this is his program, and you're already starting to see the signs of a program that is on the rise, especially in Atlanta. You get this city by storm, you could turn everything upside down, and I expect Dell to do that here at Georgia State.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I do know that he has done, and I came up a couple of weeks ago to catch the first scrimmage of the spring, and he had high school coaches and players lined up on the field. Today, this is the spring game. He'll probably have 150, 200 of the top players in the state here, along with their coaches. I already saw the head of the Minority Association, head coach, or at least the executive director of the Minority Coaches Association, and Ahmad Tinker.
Yep.
When you got that guy, on your team, and he and Dale started out together coaching at Carver.
Yep.
But that's where that relationship started. He's in his back pocket, so you got just a front row seat to the recruits, to the coach's ear, if whatever Dale didn't bring over with him from the University of Georgia.
Exactly right, and when you got to be able to tackle all the high school coaches. We see the offensive coordinator right behind us, Jim Chaney, walking by. You got to have an elite staff, but recruit at a high level, you got to have good relationship with the high school coaches. As a former high school coach, and it's funny, you saw that meme, Nate Oates, Dan Hurley, all these guys that made the Final Four of men's basketball. You know where they got their start? Coaching high school basketball. Dell McGee, where did he get his start? Coaching high school football. So that shows you that it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. And Dell McGee, he is nowhere near finished. And it's pretty cool to see what he's been able to do.
Well, what I do like about how he's going about starting this football program, or at least putting his footprint on this football program, is, of course, the culture. You hear about that all the time. What does that mean? That means that you are getting these players to understand the core values of your program. And with that said, obviously, all of Dale, his programs that he's been involved with has been built on great players, great high school players, not just players, great people as well. These guys are good on and off the field, and you know what? By the signs of everything that we're seeing here today, that's a great start. But what I want people to understand is that this is not going to happen overnight, Thrift.
No.
This is not going to happen overnight. He has to build a foundation. He has to get some interior linemen. We saw it front row with Coach Prime at Jackson State last year, but I don't know how that's going to measure up in the Sun Belt Conference.
Right.
However, I do know that Dale will be the guy to get these players and these offensive linemen and these skill players in here.
Yeah, and like you said, it's going to take time. Let him establish his culture. But I really think that Dell has the fortitude, and I think Georgia State had the team, and they didn't lose a lot in the transfer portal when he was named the coach. I think he has the ability to maybe make a bowl game, which would be a huge accomplishment in his first year. But you're right. It takes time. And, listen, this is only his first spring game. So, everyone, don't think national championship yet. But we're excited to see where the future's heading. And doing stuff like this, having Pastor Troy come on the field at the spring game, having all these players come and see your program, and that is a step in the right direction.
Not just Pastor Troy coming on the field. He's performing at halftime of this game. And, but you look behind me. This is going to be the groundwork of what Dale is going to be starting, in addition to the players that he inherited by coming over from the University of Georgia. Players and having events like this where they're welcome, and again, the thing, engaging with the coaches, engaging with the parents, engaging and making the players feel what this program is going to be exemplified by. That's what's going to help him, and the quicker he can get that done, the better off he'll be.
Exactly right, and everyone's got to be on board. And it seems, from talking with Allison, from the president down, they all want the football program to succeed. If that's the case, it's got to start with everyone having that same vision, and it seems like everyone's buying into Dell's vision here early on.
Speaking of vision, Thrift, when you think about something of this magnitude, Allison is just right here off the camera. She's actually orchestrating. She says Coach McGee will be down a little bit later. But, when she was talking about, what he has been able to do in a short period of time. He just got assigned here in February, and again, the noise and the blaze and the excitement from social media has been extraordinary. And as well as I do, that if you don't understand how that works today, you can't have a successful program.
No chance. It doesn't work like that. The social media aspect, that is how you get recruiting 101. It used to be, going and meeting the parents and giving them a call. You still got to meet the parents, but the social media aspect, that's what players are more interested in anything, because they want to be able to build their own brand. If they see that your school is good at that, why would they not want to come there, DJ?
You're absolutely right. And I tell you, these kids right now in Atlanta, Georgia, downtown, let me just paint a picture for you.
Please do.
Georgia State University, you might laugh right now, but again, there's a lot of schools that started out and had to, but this is the fourth head coach. Dale is the fourth head coach, as you mentioned earlier. Bill Curry started this program back in 08 or 2010, something like that. But, where they are now with what Dale has, gained in experience and understanding how to build a program, and being in a city like Atlanta that's so football rich with great players and great teaching and great tutelage, and the fact that you have Fortune 500 companies here, even the NIL side of things, downtown Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, what it has to offer from a corporate standpoint, it'll be hard-pressed. That's why I really never understood, other than the fact that, over at Georgia Tech, it's hard to recruit because of the academic standards. But being a school in downtown Atlanta, there should be any excuse for anybody to know that, when you bring those parents into this campus, and you're taking them around and showing them these beautiful facilities, not only on this campus but throughout this city. And you're showing and you're pointing to those big buildings and saying, hey, look, those are some of our corporate partners. These are some of the internships that these players can get. Hey, man, listen, everybody doesn't make it to the league. Everybody doesn't make it to pro football. If I'm a parent, I want him to be here.
Exactly right. And, I'm thinking too, DJ, we saw with Kentucky and John Calipari, it took one big-time booster to be able to change the whole landscape of how they do their athletics. That same thing here with Georgia State. And if way it's going, I expect, many of those major corporations to want to invest in Georgia State. That's going to mean investing in those kids. That means going to mean more kids wanting to come to their program.
You're absolutely right. And one the other thing that as I think about, what it's going to take for Dell to obviously take this program to the next level is that the fact of the matter is that when you have, people, of influence on the staff in and around, whether it's in administration, but the thing about it is Brad Horton is a member of the athletic director's assistant athletic director's staff, and he's here. He deals with these players on the academic side. But Brad Horton was a player from Spencer High School that I covered, maybe 10, 12 years ago. But he's on this staff, and he's the associate athletic director for academics, and that's a great thing to know that he has a homeboy that's taking care of the academic side of things.
And teamwork makes the dream work. When we talk with Coach McGee, he knows that's a lot on his plate. You got to be able to delegate duties, and having guys that you can entrust. Something like academics is a big thing, DJ, and to be able to entrust that with someone that you believe in that's going to make sure these kids get the education they need is really awesome.
It is awesome indeed. And then before we go to our first break, Thrift, I mean, as I continue to look around, I'm seeing coaches. I just saw Coach Joe Kegler from Spencer come on, and again, of course, we're seeing a lot of people that we know. Mark Tinker, who is the executive director for the Minority Coaches Association here in Georgia. But I'm sure as the day goes on, we'll see more and more coaches and people from our parts of the. I did see also Coach Robert Sanders, who was he was a head coach at Spencer. He's now at Greenville.
Wow.
Had a couple of his kids with him, and he's going to be, of course, definitely instrumental and very valuable person that we got on our team.
You think about relationships he has built up over the years, from coaching for the 10-year period at Carver and then being a lead recruiter at Georgia. Every one of these coaches knows who he is, and now I'm not going to say he's got him in his back pocket, but knowing he's got a good relationship with him is only going to help his program.
Absolutely. Got some more homeboys in the building. What's happening? How y'all doing? Good to see y'all. Great guys. I check these out, two superstars. But you see everybody's coming out, turning up for the homeboy. This is a great opportunity. Again, not just for Columbus, but all the surrounding areas in the Tri-City. I mean, this is a special moment. This is a part of history that you want to be, you have boots on the ground, as I like to say, because, again, this is one of our own. And, again, when you say family, when you say one of our own, hey, you got to bring out, you got to, Ken, you got to do everything you can to make sure that we are definitely in support.
Yeah, and, DJ, no one's going to get access like this. Someone was asking me when we were going by, how did y'all get on the field? I was like, one name. And that is DJ Jones.
Well, you know what? I have a favor. Again, I just, throughout my career, I just try to treat people right. And if Chris is listening over there, he got you. We're going to be able to go to a break here shortly and let you know that you're watching the SportsVisions radio show, the SportsVisions TV show. You're watching SportsVisions on the road. Absolutely. Now, again, with everybody knows how great Dale was and how fast he was at Kendrick High School, but a lot of folks don't know the great athlete that you are, to include tennis and, of course, the great golfer that you are.
Yeah, I kind of gravitated to tennis and golf when I actually got to be an adult. So tennis up until my knees and my Achilles kind of give out on me. So right now I'm relegated to just playing golf.
Yeah, so, getting this opportunity to come to a university like this at Georgia State. By the way, we were talking with Allison. 50,000 students as we got DJ. Everybody knows DJ Jones, man.
What's up? That's Glenn Ford, y'all.
Listen, nobody's coming to say hey to me.
That's
They're coming to say
all right.
DJ Jones. That's awesome. But when he got this call to take over a school like this, what was it in your mind? What were you thinking? Did you think, like, man, Georgia State's an awesome opportunity, or he actually can turn this program to a national title contender? This is not just a stepping stone. This is a place he could win for a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, he had a little reservation about it, but, having been at Georgia for 8 years, I told him I could understand, but, hey, now it's time for you to move on. You've got to go out and make your niche and do your own thing.
One thing about it, though, Kirk, again, this is a great opportunity, and we know that Dale's going to do his part, but, he can't do it alone. His staff, and of course,
right.
The people in the community, not only in Columbus, but here in Atlanta, the coaches all over the state, all over the Southeast, but more importantly, they got to help Dale get the kind of recruits and the kind of players in here that he needs. And again, he's the first to tell you that, and I know you know that.
Right, yeah. He's looking at a lot of avenues because you got to have NIL money to motivate kids to come, and he's got an older brother that's going to do quite a few car shows for him to generate some funds and hopefully get out in the city of Atlanta and kind of get the whole city of Atlanta on board with what he's trying to do.
And that brother is Monty Carter, who is former Atlanta Falcon, played in the NFL over a decade. And again, that's another member of this talented family. Give us a little executive summary of your son, Monty.
Yeah, Marty did pretty good. I mean, he played in the NFL for 11 years. Of course, he played college football at Middle Tennessee State. And actually, Marty was Mr. Irrelevant back in when he got drafted.
Wow.
And he got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And he actually made the team, and he started at safety and free safety for 11 straight years in the NFL.
Let me just say this, folks. When he said Mr. Irrelevant, you got to understand that that Mr. Irrelevant means that you are the last person taken in the draft.
Right.
Obviously, it's a great honor,
right.
But you are the last person. But most of the time, the person that's the last choice on the roster doesn't make the team. But not only did he make the team at Tampa Bay, he started and did quite well.
Did exceptionally well.
And of course, but Curtis, your high school, your youth, did you play football, baseball, basketball, baseball?
Well, I was in high school back in the 60s and graduated in 69. So it was kind of unfortunate. I was recruited to go to Harris County High School to play football, but I had kind of made my headway at Carver up in Harris County.
Yes.
So I decided to not transfer and stay with Carver, play basketball, baseball. We didn't have a football team at that time. So that was where I basically got started at.
Well, what did the coaching aspect come up with Dale? I mean, my granddad coached him at Rothschild. He said he was always wiser than everyone else. But did you think he was going to be this successful as a coach? You knew he was a great athlete, but did you see the leadership quality in a young age with him, Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it. And we knew he wasn't going to be able to play football very long, if he was able to play at all. And fortunately for him, he actually got drafted and played a few years in the league. But he developed a natural coaching probably 2 or 3 years after he finished, playing football.
Right.
And he had a couple of friends of his that was already into coaching, so they kind of brought him in, and it kind of blossomed from that.
Right.
If you're just joining us, we have with us Curtis McGee, the father of Dale McGee, the head coach here at Georgia State University. Kirk, I know that over the past 8 years that Dale has been in Athens at the University of Georgia. The travels, I've seen you at SEC championship games. I've seen you at college football playoff games. I've seen you at the national championship games. I tell you, the family has had to have a hell of a ride.
Yeah, it really has. I remember when Dale played college football. I think out of the 5 years he was at Auburn, I missed one game going down to Arkansas one year. And I missed the game because it was snowing down there. I didn't want to be involved with no snow. But we try to support him, and morally and spiritually. So I think he appreciates what we do for him.
Absolutely. And again, make no mistakes about it. Dale was a smaller guy with a lot of speed, and I know that some parents, they, when they're smallish, I know a lot of mamas and daddies don't encourage their kids to play football. You didn't have that problem, huh?
Well, I did in the beginning because when he became age to play Pop Warner football, I told him, I said, you need to wait a couple of years, and he didn't want to do it, but he waited, and it turned out to be, real fruitful for him. But when you're small, it's kind of tough playing this game of sports, especially football.
Yeah, his ability to relate to players and all the players that have respected him.
Yeah.
Talk about that and seeing that maturation process and why not just players but coaches, everybody has Dell McGee's respect. That's pretty incredible to see your son getting that from all over. National prominent guys to the lowest of the low, doesn't matter. Everybody respects Coach Dell McGee.
Yeah, he's kind of got a let's say a knack that I probably don't have, because I can't relate to the kids in this day and time.
Right.
And I tell them all the time, man. I said, man, how do you deal with the kids with all the different personalities and attitudes and all that?
Right.
He said, just had to mix them all together and get what you get out of them.
Like gumbo, right? A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Kurt, again, being his dad and again being his confidant, obviously, he has a beautiful family. You have a grandson that actually is a pretty doggone good football player who has signed to play here for his dad and your son at Georgia State.
Yeah, we talked about that before Dale got the job here. I talked to him and I told him, I said, well, you know where I'm going to be every Saturday, right? He said, yeah, I know you're going to be where Austin at. I said, yeah, you're right. And it was fortunate that he got the job. So now, I can be with both of them.
That's awesome.
Absolutely, it is. One thing about it is that Dale is now a head football coach, and of course, one of the skills and one of the things that you do really well, I'm sure that he probably now, even though he didn't play, or I don't know if he plays or not, but playing golf. These coaches go on these circuits now. Kirby is a pretty good golfer. Yeah. I don't know if Dale is a golfer or not.
He got clubs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about the extent of that. We've gone out a couple of times. I tried to get him into tennis and golf, and they was all stuck on that football like most guys are. So I didn't bother him. I said, okay, you do you.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he wants Dad to give him, some crash courses because, I understand that, when you're networking and you're hanging out with the high rollers and the big alumni, it's nothing like playing around a golf.
Right, yeah.
So Pops, you might need to dust his clubs off.
Well, I mean, he got to get some new ones because he's been at them for a long time. But we'll get him into it if he takes the time to do it.
Yeah. Kurt, we talked about obviously what's important today, with the NIL, and all of that wasn't around when Dale was being recruited. And let's talk about his recruitment out of Kendrick High School, because he was a phenomenal athlete, not just a football player, a track athlete. But talk about his recruitment and what are some of the options that he had then?
Yeah, he spoke with a lot of schools. A lot of schools came and visited. Matter of fact, University of Georgia, South Carolina, Florida State, Auburn, of course, and several other schools. And I really don't know how well, I do know how. My wife was a big Auburn fan.
Okay.
And, he was leaning between going to Georgia Tech and Auburn at the time. And I think she persuaded him to pick Auburn.
Wasn't a bad choice for him.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad. Yeah, it worked out pretty good too. Mm-hmm. But seeing everything that's happened with him, and you talk about the recruiting process of it, it's changed so much now. Where do you think he's learned a lot of his recruiting ways? You think it's from Kirby? Has he mentioned to you, like, how did he become such a dominant recruiter? He was the #1 recruiter in the country for several years at the University of Georgia. Yeah. There's a lot of people that recruit in Division I football, Curtis. Yeah. How did he be able to do that? Is it relationships with the players? What is it that made him so good at recruiting?
Well, quite naturally, Kirby does a great job at UGA. And, Dale kind of came in and he kind of, took a knack to what Kirby was trying to do. And he developed, that personality to go out and relate to kids and whatnot. And so most of it has to be contributed to Coach Kirby.
You know, I'm going to take a left turn here because obviously I know something that's near and dear to your heart is coming up real soon in our community, and you got a golf tournament coming up. We talked about how good a golfer you were, but this is a wonderful opportunity for you to share that information to some potential golfers and some sponsors that are listening.
Yeah, we host our annual Bi-City Golf tournament every year. We've got a group of guys that we're committed to raising money for kids that want to get into golf. We deal with a lot of kids that go to the boys club and girls club that we buy scholarships for. So there's a lot of things that we do, and all of it is predicated towards the youth. So that's mainly our main goal every year in raising money and putting it back into the kids of Columbus.
Kurt, if somebody wanted to register or sign up for this golf tournament to play or to sponsor, what information do you have for?
Well, you can actually go on. It's called SAG, SAAG/org, and you can see our registration. We got a Facebook page, and we got all kind of ways you can register. We've got a lot of literature out through the city of Columbus, and actually some up here in Atlanta too. So we do have means where you can call me. My name, Curtis McGee. I'm the tournament director. My number is 706-577-0460. And we have had a tremendous response from the community of Columbus as far as sponsors is concerned. And we would like to even thank DJ and this party for being a part of that sponsorship problem.
Absolutely. You know, I'm going to give you some free game now, and I share that with the people that I care and love about. Free game. This is free game for Curtis McGee. Obviously, it's going to be no secret that with this fundraiser, we're going to incorporate your son into being possibly, making a guest appearance at some point in time, and obviously that'll help, with the registration and all of the kids that might come out and want to get autographs, take pictures. Again, that's just some free game for you, Kurt.
Right. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We just a couple of more things here with you, Kurt. I just want to talk to you a little bit about family and how important that is to you and Dale. And again, as he's gone on this crusade to get to this point in his career.
Yeah, he's got an awful lot of support from his brothers and his sisters, and quite naturally, me. And they are always in close contact with one another, checking on each other, make sure they're okay. Like I said, his oldest brother is upstairs right now. Got a bunch of cars outside, in support of Dale, and he's going to be coming up doing about 2 or 3 car shows to help him out, with raising some funds for the program.
Well, once again, Curtis, congratulations. We'll be seeing your face in this place, man. Again, my thing is, and again, the campaign of SportsVisions at home and abroad, around the world, around the country, is that you cheer for whoever you want to. We're just going to add Georgia State University and Dell McGee to the program because he's our guy. All right.
We just adopted Georgia State, no doubt about it, man.
All right. Thank you so much, Kurt. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Center Park Stadium. This is the site of the Georgia State University Panthers spring game. This is the SportsVisions show. DJ Jones alongside Thrift, Barringer. Thrift, I tell you what, man, we've only been here maybe 30, 40 minutes, but already I'm excited about what I see. You obviously can see in the background there's literally hundreds of players from all over the state, all over the southeastern and part of the country here today to see the product, and that's the Georgia State University Panthers football team led by Coach Dell McGee.
Yeah, this is incredible, this scene, man. I mean, there's so many people here, so many players that are still coming in. The game's not going to kick off for another 30 minutes or so, but this experience is unlike any other. To be on the field, do a live broadcast from Center Park Stadium, and I was telling Chris, I'm walking through it, and I'm thinking, you know what? I remember this stadium. It's like, oh, yeah, this is Turner Field where the Braves had so many winning games where I used to come and spend my time with my dad when I was a young kid before it became Truist Park. So a lot of memories in this stadium, and now another one here at the Georgia State spring game.
You make mention of this stadium. Obviously, this whole neighborhood used to be just a bunch of, houses, and it was a lower impoverished area. But what the Georgia State University athletic program has done is taken over not only the properties, but they built great facilities. They've made this old baseball stadium into a nice, really nice football facility. And, of course, just a couple of blocks up the street, a gorgeous basketball facility. If you remember the old Georgia State basketball gymnasium, but I tell you what, the Hayes brothers obviously are loving that facility because they have a first-class, first-rate facility to bring basketball recruits in, just like Dale having this wonderful stadium right here on campus. And the fact of the matter, not just the stadium, but the weight room as well as the football facility is right here in this building.
And his office is in here. Everything comes out of this area right here, and I know that's good. It'd be one central location. You may mention the Hayes brothers. They remind me a lot of Dell McGee, up-and-coming guys that are in the recruiting, can relate to the players. Seems like the athletic director knew what he was doing when he hired both these guys, and I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time. Georgia State, I know we keep talking about, well, Dell McGee does great here. He'll go to another place, and he'll be on the rise, a powerhouse. I think Georgia State's a sleeping giant. Just like Central Florida. Remember them? They were like in the Sun Belt, 50,000 students, and now they're in the daggone Big 12. Why can't Georgia State do something similar?
Well, I tell you what, I think it's going to not only be similar, they're going to trump everybody because of the resources that they have.
Yes.
This town, this community, this metropolitan Atlanta area has some of the best football players, high school football players, and coaches in America.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's going to be able, not many schools and not many coaches can recruit from the inside out. You start right here and you protect you build a fence around your neighborhood here. And because some of the best players in the National Football League, some of the best players in the NBA, some of the best players in Major League Baseball come from this metropolitan Atlanta area.
And that's what you mentioned. It's a big-time university in the heart of one of the biggest cities in the United States. Atlanta, they call it the South Hollywood, if you will. And it's pretty incredible what he's been able to do here in such a short period of time. And I got to give credit to his staff, too. I mean, guys like Jim Chaney, he's got the elite of elite that were offensive coordinators at Tennessee, Georgia, and Purdue. Like, come on, DJ. You can't get better than that. And that's because guys like them believe in the vision of Dale. Otherwise, they're not taking this opportunity. So great job by Coach McGee to get a staff like he does.
I tell you what, he has some other coaches, too, that I'm sure that if he's able to make it, we know that this is crunch time, and he's scheduled to be here, but already has pushed it back a little bit. But, the fact of the matter is you mentioned Chaney, but, Damian Craig is also on his staff, the former Auburn quarterback who obviously has left and started coaching and is known as one of the top recruiters in the country as well.
Yeah, A&M, Florida State, Auburn, all three of those places, and was one of the top recruiters at Florida State and Auburn when he was there. Like I said, these guys are not making that move, and I love Georgia State, but they're not making that move unless they got a guy like Dell McGee that is willing to bring them in, and that's pretty incredible.
Pretty incredible indeed. But, again, this is something that's taken right out of a movie, man. Again, this could be a documentary, following the life of Dale McGee and through his journey because, again, he's done it all the right way, and he's done it, at an elite level by, of course, matriculating through the high school coaching ranks, rising to power at George Washington Carver High School, bringing them the only state title that they had in 2007 with names like Jarvis Jones and the likes. But the thing is, leaving there and having an opportunity to coach at Auburn as an analyst, getting an opportunity at Georgia Southern and being a part of that coaching staff, and also at his semifinal football game at Statesboro, was the interim coach and won the bowl game in high fashion. Kirby Smart scooped him up, 8 years ago, brought him into Athens. He was named the running back coach. He matriculated into the assistant head coach and the running game coordinator. And I tell you what, just a few months ago, named the head coach here at Georgia State University.
And it's synonymous, with Kirby's success. He gives a lot of credit to his staff, and one of the main staples on that staff that won 2 national titles, went to many playoffs, Dell McGee, and he talked about it. Remember we had him on the SportsVisions Awards luncheon back in 2022, DJ, and he made mention right after blowing out LSU. He's like, Dell McGee is a star, and I saw it from the beginning when he was coaching at the high school level. It's not about what the players could do for him. It's about what he could do for the players, and that's the type of coach I want. So if Kirby can see that, Nick Saban, all these guys can see it, of course we do, and I only see a bright future here at Georgia State.
Thrift, we're not going anywhere, but I do want to take this opportunity to share with those folks out there where they can find us and on what platforms. Obviously, the SportsVisions radio show every Monday and Thursday from 4 to 6 o'clock. On WLTC HD2 92.1. Of course, that's smooth R&B, SportsVisions radio show. And again, of course, you can follow us. We go live on Facebook, SportsVisions TV, radio, magazine, and of course, our SportsVisions radio app.
Yeah, radio app and the SportsVisions YouTube channel, which we should have been live on. I'm going to take the onus for that. YouTube does some crazy stuff sometimes.
It'll get there.
But we're going to get there. By the way, if you go subscribe right now and just put in SportsVisions, you see they will have the 2023 awards luncheon, which you had a fireside chat with Hugh Freeze, and then we'll upload this show immediately afterwards. So go and follow us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us and like us on Facebook. Download the radio app, so many different platforms to be able to listen and watch us.
And also a show that was birthed pretty much right here from SportsVisions, a show that I'm proud of Thrift to be, of course, the host of, he and Richard Holdridge. Of course, they're not talking about Georgia, Alabama Sports Live.
Yes, DJ, we always say we're part of the stem. If SportsVisions is a tree, we're just one branch of many avenues on SportsVisions. Trust me, we are under the umbrella of SportsVisions. And I appreciate that. We had a great show on Wednesday, by the way. We had Tyler Redmond on to talk some baseball, Jack Patterson like we do here on SportsVisions, and we had Damian Daniels, the Nighthawk, because tonight the Columbus Lions, home opener against Amarillo Venom, and I'll be on the call for that
and
at 7 p.m.
Who was that PA announcer?
The play-by-play announcer is going to be yours truly, DJ, Thrift Barringer. So I'm going to be on the call. I'm going to be doing it by myself. Looking forward to it. And by the way, you mentioned Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We got a huge game tonight because of the rain yesterday. The wind was so bad at Glenwood. We get there. We're about to do Calvary-Glenwood. Slow
down. Take your breath.
Calvary-Glenwood, number 1 versus number 1. Calvary's number 1, and the Gaps, which is Georgia private school, Glenwood number 1, and AISA, both of them defending state champions. And then the wind was blowing so bad that half the stadium lights got knocked out because of a fuse. So they can't play in the dark. So they had to reschedule it to today at Calvary. So we have Rick Beach and Chris Gates, 7 o'clock, number 1 versus number 1.
Now, he had reason to be excited. He was going up. I can tell you.
He's got to slow me down sometimes.
Look, but what he's doing is phenomenal, and I'm so proud of him. And, again, shout out to you. Shout out to Chris Gates as well, who was our producer. Of course, he's behind the scenes over there, making sure that we look good and sound good for you. And I know that's a hard job, but he is tasked to do that.
Yeah, and he's a very talented guy, and he's done a great thing. But you made mention about me, DJ. You're also doing something pretty cool tomorrow, too. You're going to another spring game. So you got one spring game, and you're going to another one tomorrow.
Yeah, I tell you, it's that season, man. I mean, last Saturday I was over at on the Plains at Auburn, and again, that's as a part of what we do in covering the local, not only the local, the regional colleges and high schools and everybody else. But, yeah, I was at Auburn last Saturday for the A-Day game. And, of course, I'm here today with, of course, you and covering during this show for the Georgia State University program on behalf of Dell McGee. And then, of course, we'll be going up to Athens tomorrow for the G-Day game. Yeah. And I'll have an opportunity not only to cover the game and talk about on the show on Monday about, what the Dogs look like in the spring game, but the fact of the matter is that I'll get to see some of my old lettermen, my old teammates. And that's always a blast when we do go back to Athens.
Yeah, so when you do stuff like that, DJ, as a former player, you get the alumni being able to the tailgate and everything else. What's that like now? How's the accessibility? Because, sometimes, not for Georgia, but just for any place, sometimes it's not always welcoming for former players. But it seems like Kirby Smart's opening the door and wants y'all to come back, wants y'all to still be a part of his program.
Yeah, Kirby has done a great job. And, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Kirby played at Georgia and he's a former player.
Yeah.
So, he understands
Good
how
point.
much it means, how much it, means to not only the players that the former alumni and the former letterman, but it means a lot to him as well to get the support, because many of the alumni now reside in some of these towns in Georgia, a lot of these high schools where his coaches are going into, infiltrating into these towns. So it makes sense to keep the network alive, to keep it open, so that obviously, we can have a hand up in recruiting.
No doubt about it. And one of my favorite of your former teammates is our guy Scotty. So I'm hoping you see Scotty there.
Scotty Williams.
Scotty Williams from the SC, big executive for the SC Network. Love him, love his stories. And I know y'all love, when y'all get together, all the stories, all the camaraderie, it's like y'all never left each other. It's not like y'all played 40 years ago. Y'all been friends for so long, you'll just get right back into it, don't you, Dean?
Absolutely. I tell you, we do. We get right back into it. But, yeah, proud of Scotty, proud of a lot of our teammates. And, again, we just lost one of our classic Mason teammates, Kevin Catfish Jackson, who has a successful business down in Savannah, was doing a lot of wonderful things in the community, but he passed away a few days back. But my heart and goes out to his family, and condolences to his wife and his kids. And I just to tell you what, I'm really sad for Kevin Catfish Jackson. Rest in peace, my friend.
I'm glad you said that, DJ, and rest in peace from the SportsVisions Nation.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll have more on the SportsVisions show, On the Road with SportsVisions, live here at Center Park Stadium on the campus of Georgia State University, the Panthers. Welcome back to the SportsVision show. We're on the campus of course, Georgia State University. We're at Center Park Stadium, and the man himself, Coach Dell McGee. Man, how are you?
Good.
Big day. Put that up a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, absolutely,
very
man.
excited to be here. Glad you all came from Columbus to represent the hometown. Really good weather. I know the Masters, and there's a lot of things going on in Atlanta, but very appreciative of you all spending time to kind of promote our program.
All right, and speaking of that, Coach, how was the maturation process? We talked to you when you got into the Hall of Fame, recently inducted in the Chattahoochee Valley Chattahoochee Valley Hall of Fame. What has the last several months been like, and does it feel like you finally got your feet underneath yourself, or is it still like a whirlwind right now?
It's still a whirlwind. Just having to meet with donors and potential NIL people, and having to assemble staff and making sure we all get on the same page and transition our kids through a difficult situation with them because they didn't know none of us as coaches, so we're still connecting in that regard. But the response has been great from our kids, and really excited where our program's headed.
Coach, this is the last question, and I know you got to get back to work, but again, when you talk about everything that's come together for you here, we know that you're going to need players, you're going to need fans. But what we've done, our campaign with SportsVisions in the Tri-City area, we're saying cheer for whoever you're going to cheer for, Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, HBCUs, whatever. But add Georgia State University to your repertoire, to your menu, because of you.
Absolutely.
We want to support you.
I appreciate that support, and I know Columbus will show out when it's time to, and we know we kick off season at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, and then we got 4 home games. So that's the goal, is to get our fans involved and involve the culture and to bring out the city of Atlanta. So I think we'll move the needle moving forward, and it's all about wins. So hopefully we can get the right kids out of the transfer portal when it opens up on Tuesday and put a good product on the field.
Coach McGee, I'm going to let you get back to work, man. Thank you so much.
Y'all.
We appreciate you.
Good luck today, man.
Yes,
All right. That's Coach Dell McGee, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to go to work, and I know I went out there and just had to pull him over here because he was doing his thing. He was meeting all of his recruits, and shaking hands, and
kissing
babies, man. And that's what you have to do. And as you see in the background right there, you probably can see, Chris, we are back right here, baby. And you know what? That guy right there has a future here.
Yeah, a very bright future, and we appreciate Coach Dell McGee coming on. You see all the recruits that are walking in right now, but that's awesome to be able to come on. And, again, no one's able to do that, walk up to a head coach, unless you got a good relationship with him like you, DJ. We just wanted to get some quick hitters with him and just put the cherry on top, as you like to say, DJ.
We put the cherry on top, and obviously, of course, 99.9% of why we are here and we made this happen was because of that guy right there. We've been following him not only throughout his career as a player in Columbus, Georgia, but as a coach on the Hill at Carver High School, my alma mater, and, of course, a state champion, the only state champion that we've ever won at George Washington Carver High School in 2007. But, again, all the great things that he's done since that time, to include winning back-to-back national championships at the University of Georgia with Kirby Smart, and the great job that he's done establishing his name in college football as one of the top recruiters.
Yeah, and one of the first things he said, it's been a whirlwind because I'm having to meet with donors, NIL. That's the world we live in. It wasn't anything else. He said staff, and of course staff was important, recruiting's important, but he knows he has to get money to be able to have all those things that he wants to be able to be successful. And you know what? We believe in him, and all the other corporations, they should definitely buy into him, because I promise you, you're going to want to invest in a guy like Dell McGee.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, again, I'm mesmerized here as you see this long line of players that from all around the state that have come here to, of course, not only check out his football program, his football team. They're here to tour the facilities, here to meet the coaches, other administrators that are part of his football staff. And he has a ton of those guys in and around. And, before it's all said and done, I'm sure that his family will become our family, Thrift.
Yeah, no doubt. And we appreciate him allowing us to come up here, getting this type of access. And it's awesome to talk to his dad and, seeing his son. He's got to be a proud Nugget. And then, not only that, Dell's son is going to be playing for him. So that's just a cherry on top for his experience here. Definitely going to be cheering for the Georgia State Panthers.
All right, we'll go ahead and take one final break and let you know that you're watching the SportsVisions show. We are live at Center Park Stadium here on the campus of Georgia State University. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the SportsVision show. Of course, we are at Center Park Stadium on the campus of Georgia State University. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we were talking about a lady by the name of Allison, of course, in the early parts of the show. This is the lady that we were talking about. Allison George made it all happen. She made it possible for us to be here, plus for us to get Coach McGee on. And I tell you, Allison, you did an incredible job.
Well, thank you very much. It's my pleasure. We really appreciate you guys coming out here and supporting Georgia State football and spreading the word.
We mentioned on the radio show when you were on our show the other day, the experience that you've had over 20 years over on the other side of town at that school where you graduated from, but now the 7 years or so that you've been here, it's just a plethora of information, and, of course, you're just a key component to, of course, Coach McGee and his staff, of course, organizing all of the media and all those good things.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy working with student athletes. Obviously, it's been great getting to know Coach Dell McGee and seeing his vision and helping him put that into place.
All right, let's talk about this spring game. It hasn't started yet, but the atmosphere right now is just – I don't want you to, take a crap on the other spring games, but just for this one, talk about how unique this one is this year and Coach McGee's first one.
Well, the turnout's tremendous. Not that we haven't had good turnouts before.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously we have an enormous number of student-athlete prospects, prospective student-athletes from around the city and the state. And that has, obviously been such a huge focus of Coach McGee and his staff from the day they got here. And I think, we talked about yesterday him saying we're going to open our arms for the state of Atlanta, so to speak, and the state of Georgia. So two different states, basically, but both extremely important and welcome and just going to be vital components to building our program and getting where we want to be.
Allison, I think that this has just been a tremendous response, not only the city of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta and the community, the state, with all of these coaches coming in from all around the South, not just in the state, not just in the city, but that's a tribute to Dale McGee and his reputation.
Absolutely, and he's one of them. He started, and he's kind of talked about that. That's how he cut his teeth and started, and he still kind of sometimes feels like that's what he is at heart. And so they really relate to that.
Well, what I gotta find out, what is that? Is that a part of your tradition?
Yes, we sound the horn, so we play that on scores, big stops, third downs.
So that's basically telling us, get off the air right now. We're about to go live and play a spring game football game.
No,
absolutely.
You can stay on as long as you want.
Well, we got about a couple of minutes here, but with that said, obviously, I want you to give credit to the athletic director and administrators that made it possible for Coach McGee to be a part of this program.
Well, our athletic director, Charlie Cobb, has been here about 10 years and obviously has been largely responsible for all this growth in terms of facilities and the program and all that. And obviously it was his vision and everything that brought Coach McGee here. Charlie was a college football player himself at NC State, a longtime administrator, a very highly respected figure in college athletics, and we're very lucky to have him.
All right. You hear it. That's right. Sounding the horn. You're going to hear a lot of that if you come in the Georgia State football game.
No doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, on behalf of Allison George, Thrift, Barringer, I'm DJ Jones saying so long from Center Park Stadium.